Hi, I'm Dr. Rachel Tinius, founder and CEO of Bumped Up Labs. I'm going to start with the problem that my technology attempts to address. Maternal morbidity and mortality rates are strikingly high in the United States, making the United States actually the most dangerous developed nation to give birth in. Here's a story highlighted in the Wall Street Journal just recently talking about this exact problem. So you may be wondering, well, why are our rates so high compared to other developed nations? And one of the big reasons, while the issue is certainly multifaceted, is that women in the United States are presenting for prenatal care with a lot of other health conditions. One of the biggest ones being obesity. Obese pregnant women are 3.7 times more likely to suffer a pregnancy-related death. We also know that along with obesity comes complications, things like high blood pressure, preeclampsia, high blood sugar, and also mental health problems, which have become really resonant in the current literature. We also know that rates are even higher when you get talking about underserved populations. For example, Black women are 3 times more likely to suffer a pregnancy-related death. I'm an exercise physiologist, so I will go ahead and say this is probably an oversimplification, but when I look at all of these issues, the first thing that pops into my head is that there is one solution to treat all of these things and even prevent them, and that's physical activity. We know that physical activity during and after pregnancy reduces weight gain, lowers blood pressure, helps with insulin resistance, and also reduces incidence of depression and anxiety, just to name a few. However, this introduces a whole nother problem. Only 15% of pregnant women are actually meeting exercise guidelines. And this is even lower, again, when you talk about these underserved women. I've been doing pregnancy research for 12 years now, and I've done some community-based interventions. I've had my hands in a lot of different populations as well. And what I found is that most other solutions are either not effective, so they don't actually impact physical activity levels, or they're just not sustainable. It's a great intervention, but how do we actually roll that out to a lot of people? And that's where the idea for an app came. So me and my team went to see what is all out there. There are a ton of wonderful fitness apps out there, but they do not introduce specific tailored information for this population. They do not help tell pregnant postpartum women what specifically can and can't they do and how should they modify. And pregnant women they really want this information, they desire it. We also know that there's a lot of wonderful pregnancy apps on the market. It's the medical condition with the highest number of apps. However, they really don't touch on physical activity. They might try to encourage women to be active, provide a little bit of support for it, but they really don't give any specific information. And to illustrate this problem, I'm going to give you a quick quote from Customer Discovery that really, I think, hits home. This pregnant woman said, "When I found out I was pregnant with my 3rd child, I still wanted to use it." We're talking about her fitness app, "to stay healthy. The coach messaged me and said, 'I can no longer help you. I'm not allowed to. Pregnancy is treated like an illness and nobody knows what to do with you.' And then it kicked me off the app." So I think this really illustrates the problem. Again, we've got myths in our culture. We've got special parking spots for pregnant women as if they shouldn't walk. So this really, I think, hits home with the problem that we're seeing is that pregnant women do not know where to go for advice. And so with this, that's again where the idea for Bumped Up the mobile app came from. 96% of the US target market owns a smartphone. I've worked with a lot of underserved populations in my career. They may be lacking a lot of things in their environments, but they do have smartphones. We also know that apps are engaging, they're interactive, they utilize real life settings, and they're accessible. So here's just a quick picture that shows some of the features of Bumped Up. We have lots of physical activity information there. We do symptom tracking, calorie tracking. We help with weight tracking. And we give a lot of tailored, specific exercise information and programming so that they know what they can and can't do. And we can help walk them through all of that. What is the value proposition? Why is Bumped Up better than anything else on the market? For one, all content is evidence-based and from certified professionals. No other app can say that. With that in mind, clinical testing has been done to demonstrate that Bumped Up itself is evidence-based. And so that's what some of these data here on these figures are showing, is some of the data from our pilot trial. And what we found is that physical activity levels were improved when women were using the app. And we also saw that self-efficacy scores were improved. Women were more confident in their ability to be active when they had the app at their disposal. We also are trying really hard to close the gap in marginalized populations. So we have features that are inclusive and accessible. We also have very carefully developed screening and safety procedures, which no other app can say. And we also can boast that all of our app features are unique and they're directly influenced by key stakeholders. We've done focus groups, interviews, We've done wireframing, usability testing, and a bunch of customer discovery. We've had about 200 women involved in the whole process from start to finish of the app so far in using it and developing it. Another unique feature of the app is that after the baby is born, Bumped Up does not forget about mom. So we have postpartum programming that goes from 4 weeks to 12 weeks postpartum to help the mom transition back to being active again. This is a time period where so many women fall off the horse and aren't able to be active. And here's just a quick figure that shows some of our competitors. And again, these same features that I just discussed that we have, these other apps do not have. A little bit on the company itself and some traction. Intellectual property, we do have US registration of the Bumped Up trademark. We've also have copyright protection of all of our content, and we've officially licensed the intellectual property from the university. We've had over four NIH grants totaling over $450,000 to date, and 2 others that are pending. And we also have a social impact award that we've won recently. We've also had many invited presentations, including to the CDC and then some other universities for their obstetrics and gynecology grand rounds departments. So what is our marketing strategy? We certainly want to market directly to these pregnant postpartum women that want to be active and want to be healthy, but they don't know what to do. So we want to reach out to them. We also really need to leverage obstetric providers in this conversation. This is really important. If there is a dietary need or someone needs help with dietary information, they have a system to refer to a dietitian. There's nothing on the other side of the energy balance equation. So providers do not have resources at their disposal to give to patients. So we want to help the provider. Let us be the exercise resource that you can give to your patient. We also know that patients look to their providers for information and guidance. If a provider says, hey, I really think that lifestyle modification would be really good for you, here's a resource, that's really going to help them. And in the future, we also want to be able to target insurance and employee benefit providers as well to get larger numbers and also help to capture those underserved women. Pricing strategy, without going into a lot of detail, we have a pricing strategy that is inclusive and accessible to everyone. So you can purchase it for the suggested price. If you're on a really tight budget, we have an option for that. And we also have a way to buy one and gift a subscription for someone who cannot afford it at all. So quick timeline, we have licensed the intellectual property and we've raised our first round of funding. We plan to launch for direct-to-consumer sales very soon, a couple of months. And I'm also in the process of writing an SBIR grant. We're going to continue to evaluate market strategy. We're doing a pilot with an insurance company as well. We're launching a clinical trial. We want to launch for direct business-to-business sales and then hopefully break even after about a year of being on the market. And then, of course, at that point, we hope we can start hiring employees, raise more funding if needed, and then complete our clinical trial. Development team, we have a diverse and amazing team, everything from behavioral anthropologists, we've got exercise physiologists, women's health PTs, and also practitioners, and an amazing app development team. So just the most incredible people have been at the backside of developing this app. At the C level, we have a CFO of the company, and myself as the CEO, and then we also have our COO, who is a serial entrepreneur who has started and sold multiple businesses and brings us amazing business expertise to the table. So why us? Why us and why now? The market is large, and it's also expected to see a large growth rate over the next 7 years. So we really think the market is primed for success. So I'll end with this. What is the ask? And our ask is pretty simple. Help us get it into the hands of the women who really need it. And that can look a lot of different ways. I look at the room of people here, and you're all representing amazing institutions and universities. Help me connect to OBs. I want to go to as many grand rounds as possible, talk to as many doctors as I can, and help them take advantage of this resource to help their patients and to help themselves. Also, of course, always interested in financial partnerships to help the company be successful. And then other partnerships as well to help us, again, reach those underserved women. How can we partner and find ways to give this resource to more and more women who really, really need it? So I will end there, and I look forward to taking questions.